Hello there. So, today I want to talk to you about being unbothered by things. Recently, it feels like I've come to a place the last week or so where I've been generally unbothered. And what I mean by that is, in the past, I've often gotten triggered by people's actions. So they do something, I create a story around what they've done and how that then offends me or hurts or harms me in some way. And then I've carried this resentment, this weight, this burden of resentment and anger and frustration towards that person. I then project that memory, that false memory that I've created, onto that person, or rather, maybe not false memory, but that story onto somebody else. And that's what so often happens, because there's a lot to break down here. We are story creating machines. So something happens or it doesn't happen, we very easily, as human beings, create stories around what that means or what it could mean. Someone does this to me, that must therefore mean X, Y, Z. And so often, a majority of the time, those stories are baseless and not grounded in reality. And here's the catch. Even if there is truth to the story, what can you do about it? The best way that I found to approach it is to maintain this kind of even level of stoicism, where you're emotionally regulating yourself and observing your thoughts. And I don't mean necessarily that you should be in a constant state of meditation. Well, sure, that's a great goal to have, and if you can shoot for that, something you aspire to, fantastic. But I mean more so a state of being even keel with things, taking them as they come, being willing to pivot with your approach towards life, while at the same time maintaining a rooted groundedness in the present moment. And a lot of this has to do with letting go of the stories you create. And I created a video called Just Let Go, you can check out on the channel. But one of the most effective ways to let go of other people or of stories is with love, right? You can't hate someone into letting them go, because that anger is energy that you're investing into that resentment, into that strife with that person. The best way to do it, I found recently, and this has been very helpful for me, is to forgive. Maybe not forget what happened to you, but forgive them and say, you know what, this situation, whether it was real or not, whether it was real or perceived, whether it actually happened that way, or I've created a story that it happened in such a way, I let it go. I release it, and I thank it for the lessons it's taught me. And when you approach it from that angle with gratitude, then you can transmute that and you can move past it. And so as of late, I've thought back to Stoic principles, something you'd read in Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, which I highly recommend you check out, is the idea that nobody can harm me unless I let them. This is also something that Viktor Frankl talks about in Man's Search for Meaning, being a prisoner in a concentration camp and realizing that the last of the human freedoms is deciding how you respond to things, how you react to things. And so when you're able to be aware of that freedom and power you have, where you can say to yourself, I'm not going to be offended by this, I'm not going to let this bother me, then you become really strong and unperturbed and unbothered. And they say the best fighter is the one who remains the most calm. And so when you take it from that context, right, think of yourself as this warrior moving through life. And if you want to be able to see the attacks coming and respond appropriately, you have to be relaxed in a state of calm presence. Be aware of your emotions. If someone can rile you up or create a response in you, then they have power over you. And anger is one of those emotions that often destroys the vessel that it's carried in, the vessel being you. And so when you can walk through life where you're not bouncing to extreme highs and you're not dropping to extreme lows, but you can kind of maintain a steady equilibrium, you're in a good place. It doesn't mean you can't experience joy or friendship or all those other emotions. All of the emotions you should be able to experience and express. But letting go and allowing them to come and pivoting when necessary is hugely important. And if there is some grievance you have with another, one thing you can do, which I've done in the past, and this is challenging, is to have a little clearing with them. And the purpose of the clearing is to do exactly that, to clear the air. Now, this isn't meant to be necessarily a discussion where it's like, you should have done this, or what you did was wrong and this is what you should have done. No. It's more of expressing with I statements that when you did this, XYZ, I felt this way. And I just wanted to express that to you. It may not have been your intention, but that's how it was received. And I just wanted to express that and clear the air. And when you approach it from that angle, it doesn't matter how they respond, because they may not respond positively, but at least you yourself have approached it in a mature manner. And on your end, things are clear. And I've done that to a few people. I haven't done it in a while, but it's incredibly uncomfortable to do. But usually afterwards, there is, typically in my experience, a level of respect, a mutual respect that comes with, wow, okay, cool, that person was super mature enough to express themselves in that manner. That's really neat. So that's been helpful. Another thing is when you feel that you've been triggered, and usually this is when a part of you comes up, and you might not be sure why. Someone could do something, and it triggers something, and then this part of yourself that you don't seem to have control over rises to the surface, whether it's anger, sadness, etc. When you find something happening, and it typically works in patterns where something will happen, you'll get triggered and be like, well, then like you lose yourself. For me in the past, it's happened when someone doesn't text me back, believe it or not. Whether it's my friend, a girl I'm into, a family member, if they don't text me back, I used to get really triggered and angry and frustrated and create a story around why they didn't. And it would really affect my self-worth. And then I kept exploring why that was. And that's something you can do is, what are my thoughts telling me about this event or situation? What are my emotions telling me about this event or situation? And what is this teaching me more about myself? So looking at everything as a instrument for growth and teacher, a mirror reflecting back things you have yet to learn, is tremendously helpful. So I've touched on a couple things. I know that's not really like one singular focus, but this is something I've noticed recently in myself where I've been feeling pretty good. Not great, not horrible, but good. A righteous good where I'm at this equilibrium, this consistent emotional state, and really just allowing things to come and go as they may. And I can't say that I'll always be in this state, but I'm really enjoying it and learning a lot from this process. And I encourage you to be mindful of how you are feeling throughout the day. When I walked out of this warehouse I work at, I felt like this energy, and I was like, oh wait, this is an energy from this environment. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to just allow it to be here. When I go home, I can sage myself and do whatever I need to attend to myself, and then it'll pass. And just approaching it from that mindset, that way of being, I think will be of immense value. So if you got something from this video, please like it and do me a huge, tremendous service and subscribe to this channel, and I would super appreciate it. I'm consistently humbled by the comments I'm receiving on these videos. I very much enjoy making them, and if you have any ideas of what I should make in the future, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be doing, over the next week or two, when I go back home to New Jersey, doing some more recon on how I can be of better service and teach you some of the lessons I've learned, as well as sharing insights on different topics and things like that. So without further ado, I'll see you later. See you in the next one. Peace.